Well, good morning. Welcome. So, we'll start today in a seated position. So, go ahead and come into your seat and then take a moment to close your eyes and just begin to drop your attention inside your body. And so, whether you are practicing in the morning with me live or practicing at a different time, different times of the day you may feel differently. So, take a moment before we begin to move to notice how you're feeling right now. In particular, notice if there are any physical sensations you're aware of. And so sometimes you might have injuries that you're working with, or just areas of the body that might feel tight or stiff. And you always have the right and the responsibility to take care of yourself as you practice. So feel free to skip anything that doesn't feel right for your body, or if it's not appropriate for your body based on an injury. Feel free to just do something else during that posture. If you have questions about what to do instead, feel free to pop that in the chat and I'll see it and answer it at the end. So, as you're checking in with how you're feeling, noticing physical sensations, you might also start to notice any emotions or thoughts that are present. Just noticing, not needing to actively change any aspect of your insides. All right, so we'll take our palms together in front of the heart. And then interlace the fingers, press the palms forward and up toward the ceiling. Then we'll begin to reach up through one hand and up through the other side. Left and right a few times. Give a little tug on your fingers. All right, let your hands separate. Take them behind your back. Interlace your fingers there. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Open up across your chest. Begin to turn your head from side to side. And then lift the chin up and drop it down. Again, lifting up and dropping down. And once more lifting and dropping. All right, so as you bring your head back up to center, take your arms out to the sides. And then as you bring your arms forward, take your right arm underneath. Now, for some of us, it's possible to twist the arms together, kind of like right above the elbows, twisting the arms together in that way. If that doesn't work for your proportions, just take your elbows together and then your hands together. So essentially what we're doing is we're taking the lower parts of the arms together to give a little bit of a stretch to the back side of the back, or the space between the shoulder blades. And so as you take a few rounds of breath here, really send the inhalation into that space between the shoulder blades. As you exhale, relax the shoulders down. And then 2 more breaths. All right, and then unravel your arms, take them behind your back again. This time taking your non-habitual thumb on top. Remember we discussed yesterday how even just interlacing our fingers, we have a tendency to take one thumb on top all the time, but swap the fingers so that your other thumb is on top, just for a little bit of a different sensory input. All right, and then once again, squeeze the shoulder blades together. You're opened up across your chest. And now we'll scoot the knuckles over towards the right side of the waist. And then begin to drop the head over to the right. Take the top of the head a little bit forward as the chin comes in slightly. And then let the top of the head go slightly back. So the chin goes slightly forward. Again, top of the head a little forward. And back. Once more, a little forward. And back. All right, as you ease your head up to center, we'll scoot the knuckles over towards the left side. Same thing, just kind of anchor them there. Drop the head to the left. Feeling now into the right side of the neck as the top of the head goes a little forward, chin tucks a little bit. Take the top of the head slightly back, again, so your chin goes a little forward. And then top of the head forward once again. And back. All right, ease your head up to center. Release the hands, take the arms back out to the sides. And then again, as you bring your arms forward, this time it'll be the left arm underneath. And then if your arms are able to twist together so that your hands come together, do that. If that doesn't work for your proportions, just take elbows together and hands together. All right, either way, sending your attention into the space between your shoulder blades. Take 3 big breaths. All right, after that third breath, release the hands down to rest on your thighs. Shrug your shoulders up. Take them back and down. Again, shrugging up and back and down. And then once more up and back and down. All right, so we'll shift onto hands and knees. As you come to hands and knees, take your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. And as you inhale, drop the belly, lift your head and your tail. As you exhale, tuck the tail, round the back, take the chin toward the chest. Again, with your inhale, belly drops. Head and tail lift up. Exhale as you tuck and round. All right, one more like that. Breathing in. And breathing out. All right, so as you come back to neutral, if you do have a block, take it near the top of your mat. If you don't, that's okay. You can just sort of pretend that you've got something in your hand in a moment. And then from this hands and knees position, come all the way down onto your front. And so as you come down onto your front, organize your arms so that your elbows are underneath your shoulders. And as you reach back through your legs, you might have the tops of the feet down if that's comfortable. You might tuck your toes if that's more comfortable for you. But then just start to press down into your forearms, lifting your heart. And so this posture creates a little bit of compression in the low back. So if it's too much, take your elbows further forward so that you're not compressing quite as much. And then maybe your rib cage is resting all the way down on the floor. You could also put a blanket or a pillow underneath your belly and hips to give yourself slightly less compression in the low back if that's beneficial for your body. All right, we'll take 3 breaths. Right after your third breath, go ahead and lower your chest and your head down to rest on the floor. Pause for just a moment, giving that low back some time to stretch back out. Go ahead and also bend your knees and just let your feet gently sway side to side. All right, release the feet down to the floor. Now take your arms alongside your torso. All right, so as you inhale, lift your head and chest. Also lift your feet, lift your arms, and then as you exhale, slowly lower down. All right, do that a few times as you inhale, lift up, contracting the backside of the body. Exhale, lower down, and relax. And so as you continue to do this, inhaling as you lift, exhaling as you lower, switch the direction that your head is turning each time. All right, we'll do one more of those. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Once again, pausing, let the low back relax. And you may have also sensed that more than just your low back is affected by what we just did. So you might have felt your hips and the backs of your legs engage, as well as all the way up your back. So give yourself a few more moments, a couple breaths, to fully relax into relative stillness. All right, so from here, go ahead and look towards your block if you have one. If you don't have one, just sort of imagine that you have one. Your arms can still do the same movements, even if there's no block in your hands. All right, so now as we inhale, we're going to lift the head, chest, and arms. And then we'll take one arm back with the block. And then we'll be switching where the block is. All right, so as you inhale, lift your head and chest, lift your feet, lift your arms. Take the block back, take both arms back and switch. Exhale as you lower. Inhale, lifting up. Switch the block. Take it forward, down to the floor. Exhale, release. Inhale, lifting up. Let the block be in the other hand this time. Take it back. Exhale, release. Inhale, lifting up. Switch which hand has the block. Take it forward. Exhale, release. Now go ahead and pause in relative stillness. Again, letting all the parts of the back that were just tensing release and let go of effort. All right, so from here, we'll press up onto hands and knees. Take the knees a little bit wider than the hips, the feet pretty close together. Take your right hand out to the side and up. Inhale. Exhale, tuck the right arm underneath the left arm. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, underneath. And one more time, breathing in. And breathing out. And then go ahead and drop down onto your right shoulder. As you drop down onto your right shoulder, your head comes to rest on the floor. And then you start to use this left hand to push down into the floor so that your left shoulder is moving back in space and you're turning your chest away from the floor so that you're creating that rotation. Rather than simply letting the chest fall towards the floor, left hand pushes down as you open the chest up in the direction that you're looking. Now, if it bothers your neck, for your right shoulder to be all the way down on the floor, you can definitely have some support, whether it's a block or a cushion or a pillow that you just let your shoulder rest on. so that your head and neck have a little bit more space to kind of hang down. All right, we'll take 3 breaths. All right, press down into your left hand. Slowly drag the right arm back. Now, before we do the second side, take your hands underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes under, lift your knees, take your hips all the way up and back into downward facing dog. And then we'll just lift and lower the heels a few times, sensing into the backs of the legs. All right, release down to your knees. Again, take them just a little wider than your hips, feet together. All right, so this time left hand goes out and up, breathing in. And breathe out as you tuck the left arm underneath and reach over toward the right. Twice more, inhale, reach up. Exhale underneath. And one more, inhale, reach up. And exhale, reach underneath, this time dropping onto your left shoulder. Head releases to the floor. Right hand begins to press down so that you turn your chest away from the floor, creating this rotation and sensing how does it feel to twist to the right. All right, take 3 breaths. All right, so after your 3rd breath, press down into your right hand. Drag your left arm back. Take the hands back underneath the shoulders. And then one more time, we'll tuck our toes under and lift up into downward facing dog. From this down dog, just walk your hands and feet together. So you come into a forward fold. And then keep walking your hands up the fronts of your legs as you rise all the way up to stand. So as we come to stand, we'll do a few standing breathing practices. We'll start with breath of joy. We did this one on the first day. So as you may recall, you take 3 inhales through your nose, 1 exhale through your mouth. So with the inhalation, you'll take your arms forward and then out and then up. So in, and then your exhale, you'll bend your knees, sweep your arms back, exhale out the mouth. All right, so we'll do this roughly 15 or so times. But just start with your feet a little bit wider than your hips, some buoyancy in your knees, and let's begin. Last one. Now just go ahead and pause with your forearms on your thighs for a moment. letting the energy settle a little bit here. All right, as you then rise back up to stand, step near the back of the mat. Take your feet about hip distance apart. As you inhale, push your hips back, bend your knees a little bit, float your arms forward. Now, take a moment to notice where the weight is in your chair pose and really shift more of the weight back towards your heels so you feel the back side of your legs engage here. So, some of us bend our knees too much and the torso is more or less up and straight up and down rather than the hips pushing way back. So, really push your hips back so you start to feel the backs of your legs engaged. And then, if taking your arms all the way up alongside your head bothers your low back, just take your arms forward instead. Take another 3 breaths. All right, and then the next time you exhale, fold over your legs, walk out to one last down dog. And then now, as you release to your knees, come back into your seated position. We'll do a little bit of breathing practice here. So set yourself up in a way that you're comfortable. You might be sitting up on your cushion or directly on the floor or in a chair. And so we'll do 3 rounds of Kapalabhati. We've done this one, I think, in both day 1 and day 2. So blowing out your nose like you're blowing your nose, your abdominals contract, and then you relax that contracting. The breath comes back in naturally, almost without even trying. But if you notice that you're blowing out more forcefully than you are allowing breath to come back in, such that you have lightheadedness and you don't feel like you're getting enough breath, just release the control of the breath, breathe naturally, and then start back up again if you want to. Sorry. All right, so sitting up nice and tall, take your attention to your belly, and let's begin. All right, release control of the breath. Take a few natural, easy breaths, relaxing the abdominals and any of your accessory muscles that might have been tensing along with that breathing practice. So we'll do 2 more rounds here in a moment. Just take a few easy breaths first. All right, guide the attention back to the belly, and let's begin. Again, release control of the breath. Breathe naturally for a few rounds. And you might already be starting to sense the energizing quality of this breath. All right, we'll do one more round. So sitting up nice and tall, take your attention to your belly, and let's begin. Again, release control of the breath. And as you feel your breath coming back into its natural, easy pace and volume, just begin to observe once again your insides. Any physical sensation, any thoughts, any emotions that might be present. And just notice if there has been a shift to your internal environment within this approximately half-hour practice. Then we'll guide our palms together in front of the heart. And as we bow to the light within ourselves, we also bow to the light within each other. Thank you again for practicing with me on day 3 of this 10-day challenge. See you again next time. Bye-bye.